Your mother's first baby lived. If she had another, that one might not. And if she had a third, it almost certainly didn't. Not from cold, not from hunger, not from any illness anyone could name. For as long as there have been humans, a certain number of mothers watched exactly this pattern happen to them. One healthy child, and then a series of small graves. And nobody, for hundreds of thousands of years, had the faintest idea why. So what was killing them? The answer is not a disease. It's not bad luck. It's something far stranger and far more upsetting. And we didn't even know it existed until 1939. Start with what people could actually see. A woman has a baby. Healthy, screaming, fine. A couple of years later, she has another, and this one comes out yellow, deep, unmistakable yellow, all through the skin and the whites of the eyes. It's weak. It doesn't feed properly. Within days, it's dead. And then it happens again. And the next one is worse. And the one after that is stillborn. Now put yourself in that camp, with no biology, no microscopes, no idea that blood even has types. What story would you tell? You'd say she was cursed. You'd say she'd offended something. You'd say there was a witch, or a debt, or a punishment. And honestly, given the information available, that's not a stupid conclusion. It's the only shape that fits. Because the real answer requires you to know things that nobody would know for another few thousand years. And here's the thing nobody tells you about this. We assume ancient babies died of the obvious stuff. Infection, cold, starvation, filthy water, and huge numbers did. But underneath all that noise there was something else running. Something selective. Something that killed healthy babies in a specific order, in specific families. And it was completely invisible. The first written description of this we have is from 1609. A French midwife delivers a set of twins. The first is stillborn and grossly swollen with fluid. The second is born alive and turns yellow and dies shortly after, its brain damaged by the jaundice. She wrote it down because it was strange. She had no idea she'd just recorded the first case in history of something that had been happening since before history existed. And for the next 330 years, that's where it stayed. Doctors saw it constantly. Yellow babies, swollen babies, families where the first child thrived and the rest were buried. They had names for the symptoms. They had none of the cause. Because every suspect was wrong. It wasn't contagious. It didn't spread through a village. It wasn't poverty. It happened in rich houses. It wasn't the father. It wasn't the water. It wasn't sin. Nothing was coming from outside at all. Which leaves something genuinely uncomfortable. If nothing was getting in, then whatever was killing those children was already inside, and it wasn't inside the baby. It was inside the mother. Now, we like to say that a mother's body protects her child. It's one of the safest sentences in the language, and it is mostly true. But a pregnancy is also the single strangest thing your immune system ever has to deal with. Because a baby is not you. Here's what your immune system actually does, stripped to one job. It checks everything in your body for a name tag. Your cells carry markers, little proteins on the surface that say, "This is us." Anything without the right markers gets flagged as foreign and destroyed. That's it. That's the whole system. It's why it fights infections, and it's why transplanted organs get rejected. It is very, very good at this, and it does not make exceptions for people you love. Now, a baby gets half its genes from the father, which means a baby can carry markers the mother simply doesn't have. From her immune system's point of view, that's not her child. That's tissue with the wrong name tag. And one specific marker matters more than almost any other. Some people have a protein on their red blood cells that scientists later called D. Most people have it. A large minority don't. Up to about 40% of the population in Europe carry the version that lacks it. If you've ever seen your blood type written down with a plus or a minus after it, that's this. That's all the minus means. You're missing D. So picture a mother who's missing D carrying a baby who has it. During the pregnancy, stay mostly separate, mostly at birth, but the tearing and the bleeding of an ordinary delivery, some of the baby's blood gets into the mother, and her immune system finally gets a look at it, and it does exactly what it was built to do. It sees cells wearing a marker she does not have. Not against the arse. The baby's anything ever again that carries that marker, and it will not forget. The next time she's pregnant with a baby carrying that same marker, her immune system is ready. The weapons it built, antibodies, are small enough to cross into the baby, and they hunt down exactly what they were designed to hunt: the baby's red blood cells. Red blood cells carry oxygen. That's their entire purpose. So they start being destroyed faster than the baby can replace them. The baby's body panics, floods with the debris of its own broken blood. That's the yellow, that's the jaundice. And the yellow itself starts damaging the brain. In the worst cases, the baby swells with fluid and dies before it's ever born. And it gets worse each time. Because an immune system doesn't just remember, it improves. Every exposure sharpens it. Second baby, sick. Third, sicker. Fourth, often stillborn. Which finally explains the pattern in the graves. Not a curse, not a punishment. Just a woman's body getting better and better at something nobody wanted it to learn. And now sit with the part that I can't stop thinking about. For all of human history, we asked the wrong question. We asked, what killed the second baby? But nothing killed the second baby. There was no disease. There was no invader. There was no thing that went wrong. Every single part of that system worked perfectly. The mother's immune system identified foreign tissue and destroyed it, flawlessly, exactly as 300 million years of evolution built it to. It didn't malfunction. It succeeded. The horror isn't that her body broke. It's that her body was excellent. And there's one more turn in it, and it's the one that actually hurts. Her first baby wasn't lucky. Her first baby was the lesson. That was the pregnancy that taught her immune system what to look for. Every brother and sister that came after died of an education their older sibling paid for, without anybody ever knowing a class had been held. That's why only the first one lived. So how did we finally see it? 1939, a 25-year-old woman, second pregnancy. The baby is stillborn. She bleeds badly during the delivery, badly enough to need a transfusion. Her husband is the same blood group as her, group O, so they use his blood. It should be a perfect match. Her body attacks it violently. That made no sense. Same blood group, should be fine. So two doctors, Levine and Rufus Stetson, pulled that thread. They took her blood and tested it against 104 donors who were all supposed to be compatible with her. It attacked 80 of them. 80 out of 104 people were carrying something she wasn't, something nobody had ever named. And her husband had it. Which meant, and this is the sentence that cracked 400 years open, her baby had it too. For the first time, anyone understood that a mother could build weapons against her own child. This is the kind of thing this channel exists for. The parts of being human that were happening the whole time while nobody could see them. If that's your sort of thing, stick around. A year later, other researchers found the marker itself using blood from rhesus monkeys, which is why, to this day, it's called the Arsh factor, a name that's actually a mistake. The human marker turned out not to be the monkey one at all. We just never bothered to change it. And when we finally got down to the DNA, the answer was almost insultingly plain. There's no mysterious bloodline here, no special ancestry, no secret lineage, whatever the internet tells you. Being Rh negative means one gene, RHD, on chromosome 1 isn't there. It's flanked by two nearly identical stretches of DNA, and every so often, when chromosomes line up to swap material, they line up slightly wrong, and the gene between them gets snipped out. That's the whole mystery. A copying error, a gap. Except, faft, that leaves a genuinely enormous question. It's been sitting there, quietly killing babies, for longer than we've had writing. It should not have survived. Nobody has solved this. The leading idea is that carrying one copy of the gene might make you slightly better off than carrying two or none. Some small advantage we can't yet name, big enough to pay for the dead children. It's a decent theory. It's still a theory. 80-odd years on, the honest answer is that we don't know why you're carrying this. But here's what we did do. Once you understand that the first pregnancy is the lesson, you can cancel the lesson. If you give the mother ready-made antibodies right after the birth, they mop up the baby's stray blood cells before her own immune system ever sees them. No sighting, no memory, no weapons. The class never happens. They tested it, including, and this deserves saying plainly, by injecting prisoners at Sing Sing. The first at-risk woman to get it, in 1964, was one of the researchers' own sister-in-law. It was approved in 1968. In May that year, a woman in New Jersey named Marianne Cummins became the first to receive the approved treatment and delivered a healthy boy. Within about a year, 500,000 women had it. It cut this disease by over 90%. A thing that had been quietly killing children since before we built anything, essentially switched off in one generation with an injection. So why did ancient mothers lose every baby after the first? Because a marker on a blood cell that most people have, some people don't, and a mother who doesn't have it will meet it for the first time in the body of her own child. Her immune system will do its job, it will remember, and it will be waiting for the next one. Not a curse, not a punishment, not a bloodline. Just a missing gene and a body that works too well. And think about who that midwife in 1609 was actually looking at. She wrote down 2 dead babies and a mystery. She was, without any possible way of knowing it, staring directly at an immune system, an antigen, a gene, and 400 years of unanswered science, none of which had names yet. Everything that killed those children was already sitting in plain sight, in the room, in the blood, doing exactly what it always did. We just couldn't see it. And the entire distance between that midwife and a mother walking out of a hospital today with a healthy 4th child isn't a change in our bodies at all. It's just that we finally learned how to look. Your blood type has a plus or a minus after it. That letter is the reason some of your ancestors buried children they couldn't save, and the reason your generation almost certainly didn't. Same blood, same bodies. The only thing that changed is that somebody, eventually, asked the right question. And if you think that's the strangest thing your immune system does to a pregnancy, wait until you find out what a baby leaves behind inside its mother, permanently. That one's on screen right now.